Welcome to Stonewatch. Today we're talking about the movie Devotion. If you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button and click on that bell so you can notify for future videos. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And yes, I recently watched Devotion starring Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell over on Paramount Plus, and I gotta say this movie was actually pretty damn good. I mean, I think that Glenn Powell and Jonathan Majors did a fantastic job in this movie. I mean, I really dug their characters and really got their friendship that they built throughout this for a little bit in this movie, because they didn't really specify on how much time has passed, even on the fact that when you first meet Glenn Powell's character and stuff like that, he's just getting on the base, he's getting to know everybody, but they don't really say 5 weeks later or stuff like that. It did seem like to be a course of maybe a few months, maybe a year or so. Now, we had a runtime of 138 minutes, so it's a little over 2 hours, and I thought the pacing in this thing was pretty good. It didn't seem like the lag at all. It didn't seem like there was some parts that were redundant and would just repeat what we already seen. I mean, it seemed like it went at a pretty good pace. I really liked the aerial scenes and stuff like that, especially the one and only dogfight scene that we got towards the end of the movie. I thought that was pretty damn cool, and it kind of, I don't know, I thought that was pretty damn cool. Other than it's based on a true story, I thought it was pretty interesting that the story takes place around the Korean War time period. I mean, just like World War I, you don't really see too many movies or TV shows covering that time period, even though with World War I, we've been seeing a lot more stuff covering that time period. Peaky Blinders, 1917, Dunkirk, and there's a lot more movies about World War I that we've gotten recently. So I wonder if we're going to start seeing a whole bunch of Korean War movies starting to come out to actually cover that time period now too. You know what I'm saying? Devotion is a 2022 American biographical film based on the 2015 book Devotion, an epic story of heroism, friendship, sacrifice by Adam Makos, which retells the comradeship between naval officers Jesse Brown and Tom Hudner during the Korean War. Directed by DJ Dillard and written by Jake Crane and Jonathan Stewart. The basic plot of the movie is this. In the early 1950s, Lieutenant Tom Hudner transfers over to the Fighter Squadron 32, FX-32, at Quonset Point Naval Air Station, where he meets Ensign Jesse Brown, the only African-American member of the unit. Hudner integrates well into the squadron, which is assigned F4U-4 Corsairs, powerful planes with a reputation for fatal accidents if not handled properly. After Brown's car breaks down, Hudner starts giving him rides and eventually meets his wife Daisy and their young daughter Pam. The Browns are doing well but struggle with their racist neighbors. Brown has resorted to shouting racist abuse at himself in the mirror for motivation before their missions. F-32 passes their carrier test with the Crosshair and transfer over to the USS Latit, which is deployed to the Mediterranean Sea to deter Soviet aggression. The next day, the squadron is informed war has broken out between North and South Korea, and Latit is redeploying to support the South. In March 2018, Black Label Media optioned the rights to Devotion on Glenn Powell's recommendation, coming on board as producer and commitment to play Todd Hudner. In December 2019, it was announced that Jonathan Majors was cast as Jesse Brown, and DJ Dillard was set to direct. In September of 2020, it was announced that Sony Pictures would distribute the film under the Columbia Pictures label in North America, while STX Films would handle the international sales and distribution for the film. In February of 2021, Serena Swan was cast as Elizabeth Taylor. Principal photography began February 4th of 2021 in Savannah, Georgia. Filming also took place in Charleston, South Carolina, East Wenatchee, Washington, Statesboro, Georgia, and from March 17th to April 13th of 2021 at the Statesboro Bullock County Airport. Dillard was determined to create practical effects using real aircraft as much as possible, including several F4U Corsairs, an AD Skyraider, 2 F-8F Bearcat fighters, one of the only remaining flyable HO-5S-1 helicopters, and a MiG-15. Dillard hired aerial stunt coordinator Kevin LaRosa, who created the flight sequences for Top Gun Maverick. A modified L-39 Albatross trainer was used as an air-to-air camera platform. Interior footage of the actors flying the Bearcat was created by using a Hawker Sea Fury, with its rear seat modified to resemble a Bearcat cockpit. Visual parts of the aircraft painted like VF-32 Bobcat, allowing actors to simulate piloting the aircraft during actual aerial maneuvers. Devotion premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in IMAX at the Ontario Place Cinesphere on September 12th of 2022 and was distributed by Sony Pictures, releasing in the United States on November 23rd of 2022. It received positive reviews from the critics and the audience, but performed poorly at the box office. Starring in this movie, Jonathan Majors, Glenn Powell, Christina Jackson, Serena Swan, Darren Kagasoff, Joe Jonas, Nick Hargrove, Spencer Neville, and Thomas Sadowski, just to name a few. Currently, Devotion is sitting with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 81% with 105 top critics reporting in. So a majority of the top critics reporting in really dig this movie. Now, over on the audience side, it's sitting with a score of 92%. So over the 1,000 plus fans telling you what they think like this film. I agree with the critics and the fans in this one. This movie was actually pretty damn good. I also myself did not actually see this in the theaters. I don't know why I just didn't get a chance to see it at that time. And if you look at the box office, it kind of shows. I mean, with a budget of $90 million and its total box office only up $21.5 million. I mean, that's not that good as far as getting a return on it. I mean, granted, there probably wasn't going to be a sequel to this movie because you really can't, because one of the, spoilers, one of the characters actually dies in this movie, because he actually died in the war and what have you, because this is based on a true story. I mean, I wish this movie would have done better. I actually wish I would have seen this movie in the theater, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the aerial battles would have been really kick-ass to see on a big screen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, especially now knowing that the stunt coordinator for all the aerial battles and stuff like that was the same guy who did Top Gun Maverick. I love that movie. I don't care what anybody says. Top Gun Maverick was my top favorite movie of 2022. That movie was awesome. I mean, just awesome. And this movie was pretty awesome too. I mean, granted, it kind of landed on a sour note a little bit, however, but I thought this was a pretty enjoyable movie overall. I mean, I liked it. And like I said earlier, I thought that, the Glenn Powell and Jonathan Majors was awesome in this movie. I mean, I did really like Glenn Powell in Top Gun Maverick. I'm looking forward to seeing him in other movies later on down the road. And Jonathan Majors, I first got exposed to him on Loki season 1, and now he's going to be in Ant-Man Wasp Quantumania coming up pretty soon, and he's going to be in the new Creed 3 movie, and I think he's got some other kind of movie coming in down the road. Plus, he's going to be King in the MCU for quite a while, until the King Dynasty at least, right? I mean, other than I really don't know, but he's going to be around for quite a while, and he's a pretty damn good actor. So this movie was pretty good. I highly recommend watching this movie, especially if you got a subscription to Paramount Plus. Man, you ain't got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? It is close to 2 hours, but it is well worth the watch. Well, unfortunately, this movie did not make a lot of money at the box office, and it just hit streaming on January 8th. So I really don't know how well this is doing viewership-wise, streaming on Paramount Plus. I mean, I myself did not watch it until this last weekend. So, but I liked it. I kind of wish I would have watched this sooner. I mean, it was a very enjoyable film, and I hope it does pretty well, at least at the very least, on streaming, because I think people should watch this movie. So, did you get a chance to check out Devotion, starring Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell? Let me know in the comments down below. I don't know, man. What'd you think? Did you like this movie? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, this movie was a very good movie. The story was pretty powerful, and the cinematography was just beautiful. I liked it overall. So, let me know what you think in the comments down below.